Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mel, and welcome to the Backbone Show. Thank you so much for joining me. We got an amazing topic to talk about today. We want to talk about how the deal breakers that you have are keeping you single and lonely. But before we get into that, be sure if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for me. Hit the like button, hit the dislike, whatever, give me some type of interaction. And be sure to hit me in the comment section because everyone has something to contribute to this particular conversation. My lovely fiance, Vera, approached me with a question. Why is Taraji P Henson still not married? Why is this lady not married? Now, I had no definitive answer and still don't, but I do have a pretty good idea. At the time, I said, man, there's something going on with this lady that we don't see. It's something going on that this what seemed to be a reasonable, logical, noble, definitely wealthy, successful woman can't find the man of her dreams. I remember at one point she was, I think, engaged with someone. It seems to be there's no longer a factor. It seems to be she did not get married. Up until this date, I don't think she is married. But the reason clearly is it has to be something going on internally with her and within those relationships because she's the common denominator. I'm sure she's dated multiple type of guys. But what makes her and women like her stay single and obviously lonely? The reason I say obviously because there's no way that you'll keep going in and out of relationships seeking to find the person of your dreams, seeking to find the person that you will be with for the rest of your life. If you didn't have some sense or some form of loneliness and desire to have a companion in your life. Guys, I think we found that answer. I think we found a definitive answer, and I want to show you guys here. Take a listen to this small clip of what she had to say about relationships.
You got to go into a relationship knowing the person's going to let you down. That's what we do. Humans hurt each other. I don't care who you are, your mom, your dad. Sometimes, some point in life, they said or did something that made you feel a kind of way. That's human. But when you're talking about loving unconditionally, you got to love that part. You have to love the mistakes. Now, deal breaker, different story. That's not even up for discussion. Once we lay down the law and you break it, goodbye. You got to go into a relationship knowing the person's going to let you down. That's what we do. Humans hurt each other. I don't care who you are, your mom, your dad. Sometimes, some point in life, they said or did something that made you feel a kind of way. That's human. But when you're talking about loving unconditionally, you got to love that part. You have to love the mistakes. Now, deal breaker, different story. That's not even up for discussion. Once we lay down the law and you break it, goodbye.
Now, let me say this. First and foremost, you guys probably saw the @ in that particular Instagram post. That is a particular Instagram channel or whatever it is, page that, I'm going to be honest, they just give positive affirmations to ratchet women. It's a page that strictly encourages ratchet women to get it how they live. And they have some people with some of the most horrible backgrounds, most criminal backgrounds. I mean, some women that has publicly stated how they became wealthy or how they became popular or what they do for a living to this day. And those are the women that they're allowing to give other women positive affirmations. Take that for what it's worth. So this is the page that I got this particular bullcrap from. And I do say bullcrap because she started out good. I'm be honest with you. Then ended up with some bullcrap. Let's break down what she said. Yes, in a relationship, there are going to be some hard times. Yes, in a relationship, there are going to be some things that you got to look over and forgive. I've heard people say that marriage is just years on top of years of forgiving each other, which is true. And then she placed more emphasis on her point by saying it should be about unconditional love, which I totally agree with as well. In the Greek, they call it agape love. I mean, it's unconditional. It's nothing you can do to break my love for you. And that's easy to say when it comes to blood or family member, but it's more difficult to do when it talks about a relationship or a marriage. But this is where she loses me. She totally contradicts herself after that. What is this whole deal breaker thing? Where do deal breakers come in when you talk about unconditional love? It's unconditional. There's no condition in it. So now that gives us an opportunity to provide more context. We need Taraji to go a little bit deeper. Maybe we need to look at the entire interview because is she talking about being single or is she talking about being married? Because being single, yes, you can date all you want and identify if each of those people fits your category on what it is that you need to be fulfilled in a relationship. But in a marriage, there's no such thing as a deal breaker because it's not a deal. It's a covenant. That means it's forever. We'll bond together by blood. I'm talking to my lady Vera. She mentions that in the Nigerian culture, they take communion during the wedding ceremony to let you know this is Jesus. This is all about the blood of Christ that's bonding us together. The perfect example of what marriage is the relationship between Christ and the church. We being the church. He's married to us. So yes, we are a terrible bride. A terrible bride, meaning we do a lot of things that go against who he is and who he wants us to be. But yet, he's bond to us. He is a covenant. By his blood that he died on the cross for, we're bonded forever. That's not what we do in our relationships. That's not what we do in our marriages. Sadly. So Taraji, we need a little bit more details on what you're talking about. Because if you're talking about dating, I can see what you're saying, but still don't really follow. You still contradict yourself. But we talk about marriage, everything you said is null and void because there's no deal breaker. It's not a deal. See, it's more than paper. I understand it is a legal document. I understand there's money involved. So it is something to do with legalities. There's a lot on the line, naturally speaking. But this is a spiritual bond just as much as a natural bond, maybe even more. So this covenant that we have together, there's no breaking. There's no going back. There's no deals to be made. We bonded forever. Now, I'm saying this as a divorced man going into my second marriage. So yes, I'm not being hypocritical. I'm telling you that I do recognize and acknowledge that the natural takes over more often than not. But I'm just being clear with you guys. Like I said on my divorce video, I did everything I could to rescue my marriage and make sure it did not fall. And I do recognize, although I may have legally separated and divorced from my ex-wife, that covenant still stands. Let's go a little bit deeper. Let's talk about this thing that we call deal breakers. Now, I put the quotations up there because we kind of put everything in deal breakers nowadays. I mean, yeah, you got those things that are absolute things you would not deal with. But most of those things y'all talking about are full of crap. I'm gonna be honest. There's things that are inevitable in almost any marriage or things that happens over time. But I think it's time for us to have an honest conversation. What are those things that you truly saying are deal breakers? Are they committing a murder? Are they committing a felony? No, that's not it, because most of y'all with felons. What is the thing that makes that thing that you say is a deal breaker really that bad? See, a lot of you, I'm hip to your game. You want to create this whole list of things called deal breakers. And all your lists, every single item on your list is created from a place of pain. Everything on your list, because you've been there. You've been there with a guy that you thought it was going to work out, with a girl that you thought it was going to work out. You put your heart on the line. Everything was on the line. You ignored the red flags. You decided to give that person a chance. You decided to go against everything your family was telling you to do. And you got with that person anyway. Any inkling of somebody doing something similar to a past hurt of yours, yeah, they got to go. And let's be frank. We're talking about cheating. More often than not, women are talking about cheating. And even guys talking about cheating. But really, why is that a deal breaker? Yeah, if you see that early on, I understand. By all means, get rid of them if that's something you know you can't deal with. But you walk down that aisle. You stood in front of your family. You stood in front of a preacher. You stood in front of God. And you've handed over, relinquished all of you to become one with someone else. Really? A moment of infidelity that makes you give up on the covenant? That's a deal breaker? Really? Now, going to your next relationship, you're doing the exact same thing. Now, that begs the question, Taraji, are we putting things that are actually just mistakes in the deal breaker category? The fact of the matter is, so many people are just using relationships and marriage as just a filling out process. They don't really look at this thing as a long-term investment, a long-term, lifetime relationship. They look at this as, what can it do for me now? The moment it gets hard, I'm out. You have too many people confessing that I have trust issues. Do you really? Do you really have trust issues? Frankly, I would tell you, you don't have any trust issues. What you really have is fear issues. You are too fearful to get into a real relationship. You have PTSD to the point that once you do get in that new relationship, you ain't gonna be able to appreciate it. Because a lot of us, our fear projects so heavily that we'll put on that new person the same thing we put on that last person. So that person may not even been a cheater, but because you pressed them so hard on cheating, they become a cheater. Stop allowing fear to dictate everything that you do. Stop putting your new person, your new wife, your new husband through everything that your last husband took you through, your last wife took you through. How's that fair to them? It's up to you to get the help that you need. I highly recommend people to go to therapy. You're not over it. You're not over that last person. You're not over that last situation. You're not over it. You got a lot of work to do. More often than not, we're still upset at that person. You upset at yourself. You upset at yourself for sticking in there too long. Man, trauma really causes us to do a lot of stupid things. Cause I have a lot of different declarations, say things that I would never do this again. I would never allow this again. All trauma does is put a cap on who you are and what your life can be. Take the cap off. Release yourself from all the trauma that you've been through. Go see somebody, go talk about it. Because ultimately, in the front of your mind, you want this particular life. You want the life that you want. You want a happy life with a wife, with a husband, with a family. You want that. You are tired of being in that bed lonely. You are tired of worrying, is she cheating? Is he not cheating? You are tired of worrying, is she going to leave me? Is he going to leave me? You are tired of that. But the answer is within you. Your deal breakers are keeping you lonely and single. And what if I told you every key that you want in life lies within you? You got the answers. It's time to apply it. Let go of them deal breakers.
Let's go.
They breaking you. I really appreciate you guys for joining me today. Share this video with somebody. Have this conversation. Deal breakers, good, bad. Let's talk about it. Hit me in the comment section. Tell me your opinion below. And as always, guys, let's grow. Peace.
We come to build up our brother and your life relationships. Let's come together and take a stand in our household. Welcome to the Backbone Show. Yeah.
We welcome you
Welcome to the Backbone Show.
to the Backbone Show.
Oh.
Let's go.